to start all over from scratch, what would you do? What would you do to get your first deal, to build your portfolio? How would you get started investing in real estate right now if you had to start from scratch? If I had to start all over again with the same resources I had back in 2017 when I got started, I had $1,000 in my savings account, I had a subpar credit score, and I was able to get my first deal done in about 90 days. What's going on, everybody? Henry Washington here from BiggerPockets. I am a real estate investor over the last 6 years. During that time, built up a portfolio of 80 some odd rental properties. We flip 10 to 15 houses a year, so we're constantly doing real estate deals. So if you want to learn more about how to be a successful real estate investor in today's market right now in 2023, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out the other videos on this same topic in the description below. One of the most frequent questions seasoned or experienced investors get oftentimes is, hey, if you had to start all over from scratch, what would you do? You know, the funniest part about what I would do to get started, even though the market's a little different, inflation is higher, money may be harder to find right now than it was back in 2017. The problems that investors see that they have when they're getting started is always the same, regardless of what the market is doing. Most investors who are new say they struggle with finding great deals and then finding the money for those deals. What is the one thing that every successful real estate investor needs? A good deal. No matter what strategy you're going to use, you must find a good deal. The whole point of real estate investing is to find an asset that is under market value, then add value to it in the form of fixing it up in some way, shape, or form, and then monetizing that property at its retail value by renting it out or selling it. If you're going to rent houses long-term, rent properties short-term, if you're going to fix and flip, if you're going to wholesale, if you're going to wholetail, all those exit strategies require you to find a good deal. And we've already said that most new investors think finding the deal is the most difficult. And so if every investor you talk to says, hey, I'm looking for deals, I can't find them. Well, if you can be the person that gets good at finding those deals, well, then you'll always have a way to make money because you'll always have somebody willing to buy great deals from you. So your focus should be on the lowest common denominator, and that is finding a good deal. So I'm going to break this down into 4 steps, 2 kind of mindset steps, and then 2 more practical application steps. I think you need all of these parts to work together in unison in order to help you achieve your goal of getting that first deal, finding that good deal. So the first thing I would focus on, I would surround myself with successful real estate investors. If you're new and you've never done a deal, you don't really know what's possible. The way that we understand what's possible is by we see others around us do it. When you're surrounding yourself with other successful people, you do want to have an agenda. And I don't mean an agenda in a negative way, but there are things that you're looking for out of surrounding yourselves with these people. And the first thing you're looking for is see what successful investors are looking for in terms of deal flow, right? So ask questions of the successful investors in the room. What did their last deal look like? What did they pay for it? How much did they put into it? Did they rent it? Did they sell it? Why did they rent it or sell it? You also want to be looking for a real estate agent that's an investor, because what do real estate agents have? Access to deals, especially in this market where it's taking longer to sell properties. The next thing I would be doing is learning what a good deal looks like in the market I'm going to be investing in. Real estate is market specific. And so a good deal in one market may not be a great deal in another market. There are some rules of thumb that I would use as a guide, but most importantly, I would be studying my market, leveraging those successful investors in those meetups we talked about, because as they're talking about their deals, It will help you understand what good deals look like for them. What price point of ARV are they buying those deals at? How much are they putting into those deals? What are they selling them for, renting them for? All of this is information which helps you understand what a good deal looks like in your market. You can also study sold comps. So you can get on a tool that has access to third-party MLS data, or even get on Zillow, and you can filter for properties that have sold and look for things that have sold in the last 30 to 60 days. All right, now that I'm actively building my network and I'm seeing what's possible by surrounding myself with successful investors, and I know or am learning what a good deal looks like, now it's time to go find that deal. Finding a deal, fortunately, in 2023 is easier than it was in 2017 because of the market conditions, because interest rates are so high compared to what people were used to over the past 12 to 24 months that people have slowed down on buying. Yet there are still plenty of sellers who need to sell, which creates this opportunity for you to get properties at a discount. I would be looking at every free or very inexpensive way to generate leads, and I would be relentlessly consistent about applying my time to generating those leads. When you think about lead generation for real estate deals, there's typically two schools of thought. There are free ways to generate leads, and there are paid ways to generate leads. Free to generate the leads, it is going to cost you your time to work those lead sources. And if it is paid to generate those leads, it's going to cost you your money to generate those leads, but save you your time. And since we're operating under the strategy that there's not much of a budget at all to spend on marketing, that means I have to make it my job to find a deal by working these free lead sources relentlessly consistent. So what are the free lead sources that I would work? Great question. I'm going to be looking everywhere where people post deals for sale. This means Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, any other online marketplaces that you have access to in your local market. On the market deals. There are plenty of people needing to sell on the market who are having trouble. It's taking on average 60 to 90 days and sometimes more in several markets for properties to sell. If a seller needs to sell, they may not have that kind of time. And the longer a property sits, the more nervous they may be getting, or the more willing they may be to accept a lower offer. Because I would be networking relentlessly consistently and looking for real estate agents who are also in these real estate investor meetups, I would be reaching out to every single real estate agent that I had in my network, and I would ask them to send me any of their deals that they have listed that have been on the market for 90 days or more. The other strategy that I would be using is driving for dollars. And so I would be driving around my neighborhoods, or the neighborhoods I'm most interested in finding property in. That can be a neighborhood you want to own property in, or a neighborhood that an investor you met at a meetup likes to own property in. I would drive around and identify all of the very distressed properties, right? Broken windows, tall grass, vacant properties. You'll see the signs as you're driving. And as I drive, I would then look up that address in True People Search, which is a free tool online. I would find that phone number and I would make that phone call to say, hey, I see you've got a house on 123 Main Street. Looks like it's got some distress. I was just wondering, I'm an investor in the area. Would you be willing to take an offer on that property? It's going to be tedious. You're going to hear a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of people who just don't want to bother with you or talk to you. But you've got to be willing to wade through all that to find the deal. You've got to find your first deal. It is going to take hustle and grit and stick-to-itiveness. It's not going to be easy. Get easy out of your head. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. You've got to be willing to put in the work to find that deal. Put your fishing lure in all of these different free lead source ponds, so that the more lures you have out there, the more likelihood you increase your chance of grabbing that deal. Once you find that deal and you get it at a deep enough discount, you will then have the option to figure out how you're going to monetize it. You don't have to know on the front side how you're going to monetize that deal. For me, I wouldn't be figuring out how I'm going to monetize it until after I already have that deal. And then I'm going to let my current financial situation and my current team situation dictate to me how I'm going to monetize that deal. Once I get that deal on the hook, the exit strategy that you want to do most is what you should consider first. So if you're getting into this business because you want to buy and hold, well, if you've got a deep enough discounted deal and you can say, all right, well, first and foremost, I want to look at, is this a deal I can buy and hold? And so you look at the numbers and then you see, what is it going to cost you to buy that deal? So then you can take that contract and you can go shop that around to small local banks and see what kind of lending you can get and what kind of down payment it will require. And maybe you have that or you don't have that down payment. If you don't, and buying it yourself through small banks or any other type of lending isn't an option, maybe you can look at private lending. Does somebody in your family, will they be able to lend you the down payment? Will another investor in your network lend you the down payment you need? And then you can finance it that way. If all of those options don't work and you've exhausted all your options for taking that deal down yourself, then you can look at the option of, okay, well, maybe I can assign this contract to another seasoned investor who you've been networking with. There are tons of options for you to make money if you buy a great deal. So my focus would not be on my exit strategy. My focus is solely on networking, learning what a good deal looks like, and relentlessly, consistently pursuing every single free lead source I can think of until I get that first deal on the hook. Then I will monetize that deal because it's such a great deal. And then I will take the proceeds from that deal and I will reinvest it into paid marketing, which will bring me leads on autopilot so I don't have to spend my time. And then I can monetize those leads and continue to fund my business. That is how I would start into real estate right now. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for hanging around with me. I hope you learned something of value. As always, give me a follow on Instagram. I'm at The Henry Washington on Instagram. And if you want to see more content like this, then give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this with some friends. Thank you so much. Be relentlessly consistent. And before you know it, I'll see you at the closing table.